What's your best advice for someone wanting to get into the business as a ref?
Oh, I think that's easy. That's well, it's not easy, but it's one of those things where people say, "What's your best advice? How do I get in the business?" You go find a school. There are wrestling schools all over the U.S. There are some more high profile ones, like here in Texas. You obviously have like Booker T's ROW down in Houston. Athena and her husband are running MPX in Dallas area. Lou Gotti also has a VIP pro wrestling here in Dallas. You've got, oh man, there's so many. I feel bad for Kevin. Remember the guy's name is down in San Antonio, but there's a couple of them down in San Antonio that are Chris Marvel. He has his, I can't remember his school's name on. Chris, if you see this, I'm sorry, but Chris Marvel, go search out Chris Marvel in San Antonio, Texas. He's got a great facility. Houston Carson has Lions Pride down in Bryan College Station. So many great places in Texas. So I don't know where you live, but she could definitely go and find something close to her. And it's one of those things that you kind of have to introduce yourself, tell them what you want. Some places are more adept to just wrestlers, but they're always needing referees. And it's just kind of getting around it, learning the ins and outs of the business, learning how to take the bumps, learning how to take the falls, learning how to interact with wrestlers. Like I have one of my biggest qualms with some of the referees around the wrestling world, and I get it. I always say this to them. I was like, I understand I'm not the Undertaker. I was like, but do you ever see any referee stand up to the Undertaker? Like, I'm the referee, I'm in charge here. You
Oh no
don't.
way.
And if they did, they'd get chokeslammed. And so, like when I have matches with my referees, whether it's from AEW or any of the independents that I work with, a lot of times I'll go to my referees and I'm like, work with me, help me tell my story of who I am to these fans. And if you're a referee, especially if you're so much smaller than I am, and I'm like coming at you like I'm gonna attack you or do something, and you're like, I'm the referee, and you're pushing me and stuff like that. It's like, then why should our fan base have any like fear reaction, or why should they respect me as like a fighter that somebody could get their head knocked off at any moment? If you as the referee, and I get it, and I respect your authority as a referee, and I'll respect that as you make your counts and as you tell me to get off of somebody and those things like that, and get back in the ring or whatever the case may be. But I always tell them, like, if I come at you, get the hell away from me. I was like, because my character, the Murder Hawk Monster or the American Psycho, I was like, if I get my hands on you, I don't care. I'm gonna take your head off. And they'll be like, most of the time they're like afterwards, like, oh, I'm so sorry. I should have understood that, or I should have asked, blah, blah, blah. But I think that's one of the biggest things as becoming a referee is learning how to interact with the wrestlers that you're working with, because we're all working together when we're in there. And if you're, like I said, if you don't know the wrestler that you're refereeing their match, and you don't know how they are they a chicken shit heel, or are they a scaredy cat, or are they a funny guy or girl, or are they a monster like me? What are they, and how can you help them tell their story and help make the whole moment, the match and everything, not just a referee who's counting three or counting 10 while you're outside, but somebody who helps tell the story of the wrestlers that they're involved with in each and every match. So go to find a school, get yourself physically fit, learn the business from the ins and outs, learn your wrestlers from the ins and outs, and that's how you can, I think, get into the business as a referee.
Some great advice and great advice for the refs out there on the indies. Like, look, if a guy's a chicken shit heel, that's one thing. If you're dealing with a monster, and a big
Get the hell away
antagonistic
from
heel,
me.
yeah, you better get on your bike and get away from the guy.